We got to do better. Studios, take chances, take risks, make people want to see your movies. I'm so sick and tired of hearing these studios and directors complain that nobody wants to go to the theaters to see movies. Nobody wants to go to the theaters anymore. Well, why don't you entice people to go to the theaters? Why don't you make interesting projects? Why don't you market interesting movies in an interesting and artful way? And maybe they'll be more interested to go see your movie. Maybe they'll be more interested to click on your movie. But putting out posters like this does nothing but piss off longtime fans and turn off any fan that will see this in the movie theater or on a thumbnail on Netflix and scroll past it like the dog shit that it is. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Justin here. As always, guys, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today. Let's talk about a movie. So today, a poster and a small teaser dropped for the upcoming Evil Dead Rise movie. This is a movie that I'm actually quite excited for. From what I've read about this movie, it tested very, very well. It was initially meant to go straight to streaming, to HBO Max. I'd done a couple videos on it. It tested so well that they decided to give this movie a shot at a theatrical release, which I was so excited about. An Evil Dead movie belongs in the theater. That's where it belongs. An Evil Dead movie is not, this isn't just a franchise. This is an institution. This is a horror institution. Now that may sound a little hyperbolic to people who aren't in the horror space, who maybe aren't familiar with Evil Dead, but it is one of the movies that's had the most amount of physical media releases. It's a huge title. This is a beloved franchise for horror fans. Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, which we'll talk about here in a second specifically, and Evil Dead 2013. Say what you will about Evil Dead 2013. I am a massive fan of that movie. I thought it was exactly how you do a reboot, requel style sequel. I thought it was incredible. And we'll talk about that art today. But we're not here to talk about the movie because I'm actually really excited about the movie. We're here to talk about this god-awful, terrible, uninspired abomination of a poster. Now you might be asking yourself, why are you so obsessed with the poster? Why are you so upset about this stupid little poster? I don't think I'm the only one, but this poster for some reason gave me it made me angry. It's been a very long time since I've been this frustrated and discouraged with movie studios about how they market their films. Like I said, this isn't just your throwaway Blumhouse January horror movie. This isn't your Walmart bargain bin asylum film trash. This is a horror institution, and this is the poster that is released unto the world, to people who may not even know what Evil Dead is, to people who may not even know the world of Evil Dead and Ash and Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi. A lot of people don't even know that their Spider-Man movies were directed by a horror legend. This poster, I would imagine, is to entice people who may not know about Evil Dead for new audiences. But I'll tell you what, if I was that new audience and I walked past this poster in the cinema, I wouldn't even give this thing a fucking second glance. I would say that looks like disposable garbage trash and fucking move on. That looks like fucking dog water. Not gonna go see that. And that's what's frustrating about this. This could be a movie, whenever you have a new movie in a franchise, just like Halloween or all these movies, the new audiences that may be coming to see this movie, they might not have any idea about what Evil Dead is. Even though the other one came out in 2013, there's a lot of new audiences. Okay, that came out 10 years ago. 10 years ago might as well be 100 years ago for a Gen Z kid or a budding horror fan coming into a theater. This poster is not going to get somebody to see a movie. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. The first thing that I thought when I saw this poster is this reminds me of every shit tier DVD generic horror movie that you see on the shelf at Walmart. That's all I could think of. It's uninspired, it's unoriginal, it's not striking in any sort of a way, it's not shocking, it's not intriguing. It looks like your run-of-the-mill bland thumbnail that you flick past on Tubi or Netflix, and it's extremely upsetting, and it's just part of a bigger problem with these spineless studios that are so afraid to think outside the box, so afraid that they might offend somebody, or so afraid to, I don't know, be original, to do something that might be different than what we see. These studios are terrified to do something outside of the box, a little bit different, they're so terrified, and it fucking pisses me off. This is a massive studio. This is HBO. I don't know exactly what the studio is. These massive movie houses, these huge studios, have the budgets to hire the most incredible artists in the world, and they decide to make this Photoshop bland bullshit poster that doesn't do anything for the franchise. If you stack this poster up against the rest of the franchise, it is an obvious turd. It's an obvious fucking turd that looks so out of place when compared to the rest of these movies. Now, for me, when I think of horror and my earliest things that got me in horror, it was the art. Now, a lot of folks my age and my generation came up in the video store era, and what got us into horror and what enticed us to grab that movie off the shelf many, many times, unless it was word of mouth, was the art. It was the amazing art that they put out. Now, a lot of times they would use incredible artwork to entice you into watching a shit tier movie, and that was just part of the fun of gambling on a movie at the store. But what's bizarre nowadays compared to then is they'll have a really good movie with a dog shit poster, which is what I think is happening here. Now, if you go back to Army of Darkness, for instance, this gorgeous, beautiful poster art for Army of Darkness. If you walk past that in a movie theater now, that is going to make you stop and say, what is this movie? I have to see that. I have to see that movie. I pulled a bunch of things off as good examples. When I pulled this Beetlejuice movie off my shelf, every time I look at this poster, I am just blown away by how incredible and inspired this artwork that makes you want to go see the movie. And this movie is so damn good, it doesn't even need an amazing poster, but there was pride taken. The studios wanted to present the movie in an interesting and original way, and that's what we got with this amazing Beetlejuice artwork. Furthermore, what I wanted to go for to show examples of what I'm talking about is, and I'm going to use this very specific example. This specific one comes from a label, if you're not familiar with physical media, if you're catching this video and you're not familiar with physical media, Vinegar Syndrome is a small boutique label that releases physical media of forgotten B-rate, sometimes C-rate films from back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Hobgoblins was a tiny budget schlock film that has been long forgotten, okay? If it wasn't for Vinegar Syndrome resurrecting this title and throwing it in front of the masses with some amazing artwork, many people may not have ever even heard of it, and it would have just been lost into obscurity. But what Vinegar Syndrome does with many movies is they make incredible artwork. So if you look at the artwork for this silly Critters, Gremlin-style ripoff movie, what you get is incredible artwork. If you are in your theater this week and you happen to walk across this poster, you're gonna stop and look at it and say, what the fuck is that movie? I gotta see it. I can't recommend Hobgoblins to everybody. It's kind of a B movie. My point is, this company has a tiny fraction of the resources that movie studios have, and they were able to hire a hungry, inspired artist who is passionate about what he's doing, not somebody in a computer farm cranking out 10 posters a day that doesn't give a fuck about what they're doing. And also, when I talk about this Evil Dead poster, I'm not knocking the artist. This artist is probably very talented. Whoever the photographer were, if there is even actual human source material for this, I don't know if it was completely fabricated in Photoshop. I imagine it was. No knock against the artist. They were a hired hand to do a job, and I'm not knocking them. The problem is the studios. I'm going to use another example from Lunaris Records. This is a cassette tape for a movie called Troll 2. This is another so bad it's good movie from the 80s with a micro budget, long forgotten. Most mainstream people would never have even heard of this movie, and that's fine. This is a movie for nerds like me. But again, look at the artwork on this tape. Look at the inspired, beautiful, artistic work that this artist put out for a dog shit, terrible movie. And this is what they offer for a big studio film that went from HBO Max that tested so well, they gave it a theatrical release. I have just a couple more examples to really drive home my point. The Gate. Say you want to go simple. That's fine. Look at this gate. Look at the cover for The Gate. This is inspired. This is intriguing. There's mystery there. There's a lot to dig into that makes you want to look into this movie. What is this? What is this movie? It looks crazy. I want to watch it. Now, I have just a couple more examples, but another example I'm going to use There are thousands of independent artists on Instagram that I've found. You could dive through my follows on Instagram and find hundreds of artists that may have less than 2,000 followers that could have made amazing artwork if only given the chance. But these studios don't fucking care. They want to keep it bland as possible, and they think they're appealing to this wide audience, but they're really not. They're narrowing their audience by making their movies appear uninteresting, bland, repetitive, and forgettable, which most are, but Evil Dead I don't think will be. Look at Katie Video, an independent creator on Instagram who I first found on Instagram. She makes VHS tapes and she does all of her own artwork. If you look at the artwork on her stuff, look at just this small niche VHS label on Instagram. The art is incredible, okay? And I have two more examples here. For those who are sticking around through this whole rant, I appreciate you. I'm going to save this one for last. And just another example of small labels who go out of their way to make amazing art. You probably haven't heard of either of these companies if you're not super into genre films. Another one from Lunaris Records and another one from Waxwork Records. This Edward Scissorhands artwork in particular is some of the most incredible artwork I've ever seen for a movie. It's absolutely stunning. Just another example of a niche company putting in effort to make things interesting, to make them beautiful, to make them art. Movies are art. They're not disposable garbage. So studios, quit fucking treating them like they're disposable art. Movies are forever. That's what I always say. Movies are forever. They last forever. If they're good, they stick around and a lot of people watch them. If they're bad, people forget about them, but you never know who's going to find your movie, and I guarantee they're not going to find your movie with a poster like this Smile bullshit ripoff. The final example that I have today is a movie that cost under $300,000. I believe the budget was $250,000. This is just another example of how spineless fucking movie studios are. Damien Leone's Terrifier 2, it cleared over $10 million in the box office because people want to see this shit. We don't want generic movies. But aside from the movie, look at this incredible artwork made for the Steelbook. This is a movie made completely independently, self-funded by a small director for a movie that cost under $300,000. And look at this artwork. Look at this artwork and compare it to this bullshit right here, okay? We got to do better. Studios, take chances, take risks, make people want to see your movies. I'm so sick and tired of hearing these studios and directors complain that nobody wants to go to the theaters to see movies. Nobody wants to go to the theaters anymore. Well, why don't you entice people to go to the theaters? Why don't you make interesting projects? Why don't you market interesting movies in an interesting and artful way? And maybe they'll be more interested to go see your movie. Maybe they'll be more interested to click on your movie. But putting out posters like this does nothing but piss off longtime fans and turn off any fan that will see this in the movie theater or on a thumbnail on Netflix and scroll past it like the dog shit that it is. So that's the end of my rant. For those of you who stuck around through this whole thing, I appreciate you. Thank you. Every once in a while, I do these rant videos. I try to stay pretty positive on this channel, and I'm sorry that this is the first video of the new year, me ranting about this, but it's just how I feel. The studios need to do better, and I know they can. I know you can. Let's see some more artwork for Evil Dead, because as I was going through social media, I'm not the only one that thinks this poster is dog shit. So I want this movie to do well, but this poster ain't gonna help it. So guys, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this dog shit, horrendous fucking dog water, fucking hot dog water trash poster that they got. Let me know what you think of it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
At USA Video in Feasterville, this membership card is the key that brings the world of home entertainment to you. With thousands of movies to choose from, there's something for everyone. And USA Video does more by offering many specials, like their Rent One, Get One Free on Mondays, and their children's Rent One, Get One Free special all week.
Others say more. USA Video in Feasterville does more.